Hi, Bailey.
Can't see my face.
Wait, is this the mic on
Hey,
this side
Serena
too?
knew it
It's
was
just
my
the
voice on
camera.
the phone the other day, so.
Maybe we should put the microphone
Good to go.
closer.
All right, go ahead and call this, what time is it? 6:38. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. First order of business is the pledge of allegiance. There's my here. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any emergency additions to the agenda?
We do have one, it's just a fundraiser for the golf outing this weekend.
Okay.
That'll be under item 12A1.
Okay. All right, can you move on to approval of minutes from the February 17th regular session?
Second.
All right, motion by Jeff, second by Amy. All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0 with Mr. Finnegan, Mr. Deardorff, and Mr. Floyd absent. All right, we can move on to claims.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Jeff, second by Amy. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Programs.
Yeah, we have, I know made this a tradition, I think since, at least every year since I've been here, to take the month of April and, tour an extension of our school corporation. And so, we've been very proud of what Heartland Career Center has been accomplishing. Not nearly, half of our juniors and seniors come over here, every day. And we have the privilege this evening to be joined by a longtime counselor, soon to be put in his official retirement, and I think we just found Pete's replacement. But Pete DuPont's someone I consider a friend, known a long time now, and Pete's done an excellent job here as the counselor at Heartland. But he's also going to share this evening what they're up to here, some new programs they got coming our way. So,
Okay. You want me to move over this way?
sure, yeah. It'd be
Yeah,
good.
I got some brochures. I think I got enough for everybody. If not, I folded a couple more. Okay. Kenny called me this afternoon and said, hey, would you just quick give us some updates, things that are happening. And some of you guys are very familiar with Heartland. Some of you guys may not be familiar with Heartland. I'm the guidance counselor here, so it's actually, I'm not smart enough to be a guidance counselor. I'm supervisor of student services. So my job is much like what Caitlin would do, maybe a cross between assistant principal and Caitlin. But I have the privilege of working with kids. I've done this for 21 years. This is my last year, so I'm retiring as of this summer. They did hire my replacement. That's going to be Jared Hayden. He'll start, I believe, in July, but actually we're getting together Thursday and going to a conference. But Jared will be fantastic at what he does. But like Kenny said, typically it's kind of a typical year. We serve about somewhere between 50 to 70 North Miami students just every year. It kind of changes over the course of time. Heartland in general, we serve almost 600 kids. There's 574 kids in the program between all the different school corporations. So as you guys know, we serve Miami County, which would be Peru and North Miami. We don't serve Maconaquah, they're in a different school district. But we do serve all the Wabash County schools, Northfield Southwood, Wabash City schools, Manchester schools. We have some kids from White's, a few kids from Huntington, we have a bunch from Manchester, a few kids from Oak Hill. So that adds up to our 574. I just put some quick information together here so you guys could look. In the packet, what you'll see is I just did a quick summary of the year. So just so you guys know, this year we have 574 students. If you're familiar with our program, you know a student can come for a year or 2 years, really up to the student how they want to do that. The benefit for the students staying the second year is that's where we do most of our internships, so that'll get kids out on sites. We feel like we're going to educate them so far, and then the best thing we can do is get them into businesses and companies. We have a number of kids that are out there. I'll give you some statistics here just a little bit. Normally a student comes here, like Kenny said, they're here for half a day, so they're going to be a morning student or an afternoon, depending on how their schedule works with North Miami, 2 hours and 50 minutes in a class. The whole idea of the Career Center back in the 60s when they designed it was we're supposed to be a capstone to what you guys already do in school. So all we do is we just piggyback to what North Miami does academically, and then we try to get kids to look at, hey, what's available career-wise. In the past, it's always been, hey, you either go to the Career Center or you go to college. We're finding that's not true anymore. We have as many kids getting college credits as you guys have. Many of the kids that are coming here are getting the work experience and the college experience, and they go off to college. talking to the Vincennes rep today, and she was showing me a kid that's graduating in 3 weeks that was here a student in our criminal justice program. And so just kind of depends on what kids want to do. Our goal is really not college, our goal is employment. So that's kind of the end goal for us. We have 18 career-based programs. You guys can see in the brochure a number of the programs. I won't go through each one because that will take you much longer than your board would want to be here. We also offer English, and the reason we offer English is because if you have a student come for half a day, they may not be able to map out a schedule that includes English, and that's one that's required for all students. So we've always put that available, and we probably have 140 kids out of the 600 that go to an English class here, including your North Miami kids as well. This year, in terms of new instructors, we hired 3 this year. We have a new cosmetology instructor, Cindy Gogos. We have a new graphic design instructor, Melissa Denning. Cindy was a, let me go back to Cindy. Cindy was a licensed cosmetologist, has her own business. So half a day she works for us, half a day she's cutting hair someplace else for her own business. Melissa Denny is the same kind of person. She's a graphic design person. She has her own company, her own business that she does. Came in and has taught for Ivy Tech, and then came on board and teaches for us. Fantastic teacher. She just brings a ton of energy. Jake Miller's a unique guy for us. He's teaching industrial automation. This guy comes out of the industrial world. He travels all over the world. He works a full-time job. I don't know how he does it. The guy's got 13 patents. He's phenomenal at what he does. But he's teaching our industrial automation and robotics to kids. Trying to get his feet underneath him as a teacher to figure out what all that means, but he does a great job with the kids as well. Just some new things you guys might not be aware of. I put a brochure in there that shows you ABC construction. This was a brainchild because the guidance counselors keep saying, hey, we gotta get more kids in construction. We're probably running 50 to 60 kids that wanna be in some type of construction. And so we had to do something. So last year Floyd said, hey, what about ABC construction? And if you know anything about them, they come alongside local companies and they kind of represent the local companies, but what they do is they come in and they teach specific skills. So it's kind of a 4-tiered program. They're doing, you're gonna catch me on, I'm gonna get them close as I can, but I know they do electronics, plumbing, HVAC, and then basic carpentry. And so the kids can do that the first year, and they get a little bit of all those the first year. Second year, they pick what do they want to do, which area they want to go into, and they concentrate on their certifications and their training in those areas. So this year, we don't have a building to build, but they're building like an office classroom space back in the back area. Today they were laying concrete, but they're doing all aspects of that. The goal is eventually they'll actually be working on houses, and so one of the things in the future that we've talked to the Peru mayor, we've talked to the Wabash County mayor. I think next year even we might even be building a home for Wabash County, and then Peru is saying, hey, we might be interested in doing that too. So we'd love to expand that program to 2 full-time construction programs. If you guys know Jimmy Hoover, he's kind of a Miami County guy. He's been with us forever. He's probably going to retire, so ABC is probably the direction we'll go, and I'm going to guess we're probably going to keep at least 2 sections, if not more, of that program because it's just always super full. But they can get Vincennes credits, they can get certifications with all that, so that's a really cool program. I mentioned the cosmetology. We just did some shifts there. We had our junior level teacher move up to the senior level, and then Ms. Gogos came in. So that's been a great addition to us. The Parkview internships, if you're familiar with Parkview, it's really hard to get kids in there. But we've gotten a partnership with them where our health science second-year kids, they do rotations in all the different aspects of our local Parkview. So that's kind of cool because they're doing the classes throughout the week, and then they also can do the internship hours as well. I mentioned the graphic design. If you ever get a chance to pop back in here, there is some great equipment back in there. A large media printer, it's probably as large as your desk width-wise and stands this tall, it's massive. They can actually print, it's amazing what they can do. So they can print designs and put them on the outside of cars, and there's all kinds of things that they can do with that. So they're gonna experiment with those things. The new laser engraver as well. I mentioned industrial automation. That guy brings in all the equipment that he buys. So he goes around and buys up companies, and then he always brings us samples of his equipment. So he's got a massive 3D printer, and they can print, I think he's gonna print golf clubs out of grass. So they make grass, and grass is used to become some kind of binding material, and then they can create the 3D print out of the grass. And so it's incredible. Machining, we have a great machining teacher, Jason Slaughter. He's been here 2 years, but he kind of came into Floyd and said, hey, I need some new equipment. So they've added a ton of equipment back there. So if you haven't been back there, that'd be an awesome thing to go see as well. Then I mentioned a couple future things. The board just recently voted on an ag project. So we're gonna do kind of like what North Miami does. We've worked really well with Jim Wildermuth, and we also, of the 2 schools, Manchester and North Miami have the best ag programs, and our goal is we're not gonna step on toes with these 2 programs. So our goal is much more precision ag. The kids out here have kind of advocated that we have all this farm ground around, so they've advocated, what if we farm that farm ground? So that's gonna become a project next year, that they're gonna start doing that, and they're gonna work with local companies to make that happen. So we'll see, I think they're starting this spring.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
I think they're starting all that stuff this spring, so. Health science, there's a conversation with Parkview right now, there's a facility across the way, we're talking about how could we expand that program, because that program is massive, it's probably 70 kids in that program, and if you look around us, there's all kinds of health science places around here. So we're talking with them about facilities over there. It's possible, we're trying to talk to them about would they donate that to us and let us use that facility, but we'll see how that works out, we don't know where that's gonna go for sure. And then I mentioned the home building project, so. Then I threw a couple things just together for you, you guys can, Kenny mentioned the CDL program, we're in the heart of the CDL program right now, we have 13 kids. I think I marked on there 4 of them, you can look on the backside of that CDL. I actually put all your graduates from North Miami that are on the CDL part of it, so it might be the second sheet that's in there. Got a CDL, looks like this, has fancy writing, but if you look at the backside, these are the kids from your school that graduated with their CDL out of high school since
That's
2019.
a pretty good percentage of kids in this program.
Usually what happens is we get 1 per school. North Miami always puts 2 or 3 or 4 in, and when you start talking to kids about price, because it costs $800, I think it's $800 out of pocket, and then they have to pay for physicals and things like that. Some of the kids will back out real quick, and so your kids are on the ball, they put their name in, and they end up getting in. But we usually end up with somewhere between 8 to 12 kids. We have 13 kids this year. 1 kid's paying his own way, the other 12 we use Community Foundation to help us with some of that, and Perkins money. But you can look at these kids as well, and the percentage. I just got off the phone with the guy, Steven. This company, we're at 92% pass rates. We have 60 out of 65 kids that pass in the time frame we've done it. So pretty incredible program.
And at 18, they can't leave the state, but they're able to get out there, and
Right.
an 18-wheeler with a student driver on the side of it's a sight to be seen. So.
Yeah. And every company needs drivers. Everybody's begging for drivers and things like that. So that's just a quick blip. I mean, there's just some quick information there. You can see on the backside, I did put in there 3-year summaries of like how's Heartland done over the last 3 years, so you can take a look at that. It's got the college credits, it's almost $1 million in college credits over the last year. There's a savings there, there's certifications and licenses, I think we have close to 800 certifications and licenses. And the other piece that we really pride ourselves on, internship, is partnering with companies. So I always put out the boards too, if you guys have a company and you're looking for kids, we'd love to partner with you to do that. Got a great internship program, as you guys do as well. So, and again, our goal is not to compete with North Miami. We are part of North Miami. That's what we do. Kenny mentioned the partnership. That's the thing I'm most proud of, is that we work with 9 different school corporations and try to adjust with whatever they need to make the programs available to their kids. So,
Hey Pete, when I was here last week for our superintendent meeting, John brought up what Isaac Floyd is up to. Are you familiar with Isaac at all?
I don't know what he's,
So he's,
is he creating his own business?
so right now he's doing the CDL, but he had done a work placement apprenticeship with Pike Lumber.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you guys all probably know Isaac a little bit, but long story short, I think he's got a long-term commitment from Pike, and he's going out, he's an estimator. So he's going out, he's inspecting woods and then telling them what they're worth. And at 18 years old, or however old Isaac is, I know John said it's pretty impressive what Pike's offered him moving forward.
He's a pretty impressive kid anyway. He's got his own business on the side and does a lot.
It lets him still do what he's doing, so.
Yeah. Yeah, and so the Pike people are really aggressive at getting talent. I never even knew that facility was here the last couple of years, and then they kind of popped in here, and they're here every career fair recruiting kids. And
How'd the career fair go last week, the 15th?
Great. We had 34 schools here. It was a really good turnout. We usually get somewhere between 30 to 40 that'll be in the hallways, and so really good turnout for the kids.
And I think John mentioned the Huntington Company, PSV maybe? They're
John,
running a mill, tool and die, but they just hired 4 kids from here, $28 an hour coming out of high school.
Yeah, I remember the kids came into the staff lounge and they told me what they were making. I was like, what's that?
Right, yeah. You give them a name,
Yeah, and that's the hard thing is, and again, different from what you guys do. You guys hire teachers that have learned to teach and come in and teach specific courses. Ours are professionals that come out of the field, and so they're teaching their area. So a lot of these teachers can make more money doing something, or like, a lot of our
Their
folks can.
original.
Yeah, whatever their job, you've got a welder, those guys are making crazy money, machinists. It's hard to believe we can keep some of these people here, but, that's the benefit of what we do. But again, hats off to all the teachers. We work with a lot of your kids. You've got a great group of kids from North Miami. But hats off to your teachers that are in the trenches as well, because
Pete, thank you, and congratulations on the retirement.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
got a question.
Yes, sir.
How many kids do we turn down? Don't have food.
This year, it was one of the easier, 3 of the schools, so in my corporate report, we're at 109% capacity of our quota. So I think we're sending over 60, where were we, 68, 69, and
Yeah.
we have 65 seats, and they all got in standing, so.
So-
That's not always been the case. The counselors get together, go through the rounds, but yeah, this coming year, I think everybody's got a placement, so.
And just something, while you're on that topic, like, I think it's really, really important for those 68 students or 65, however many we send, I think it's really, really important that we provide transportation, and we continue to provide transportation over here, or we won't be able to. I think we have a
Yeah.
lot of
We
students
have
who
one school that is thinking.
don't
they're
have
not
driver's
doing that.
license, yeah, we've
And
talked.
it'll kill their program, and again, you guys do the math, I'm not the math guy, I'm just,
Right.
I'm the guidance counselor, but it really, it benefits you if a kid comes in 1 year and they stay a second year to the program, your money for that kid reimbursement triples. It's just incredible, and so your counselor has to really be educated about, like, you can move them to work experience, but if you kept them in the same program and then go get them an internship, your money as a board triples.
Right.
It's
Right.
the
And I
reimbursement.
know it's never come up for us, but it has come up for some
Yeah.
other schools, so just
Yeah, when we're-
transportation.
throwing that out
When we're
there.
pushing 575, 600, it gets very competitive for certain programs.
Yeah.
You know, and we've had some outside the box brainstorming this past year of adding a 3rd section, what does that look like? And, some hybrid schedules for coming over here. And, but yeah, for next year, I think 3 of the school corporations were above quota and 2 were significantly below, so it made it a little easier overall with the numbers. I think we were closer to 550 coming into next year, so.
And the other thing is a kid may not get their first choice, but they'll get their second choice for sure. We try to get them there. My goal is to get a kid into their first choice, that's what we try to do, and that's what I've done for these.
And I think one of the differences here with us is, Pete mentioned internships and the entrepreneurship program. We really rely solely on Heartland to run that for our kids, whereas some other corporations that are larger, they may run their own internship program, and, Pete works alongside that person. So, it's benefited, we're seeing, with this new diploma track, but we're seeing seniors, that have met their requirements academically with courses, and they're coming here to Heartland, and then the other half of the day, they're completing their apprenticeship. So, they're getting a head start. And this ABC program, I think they can wrap up their first year of internship, it's a 4-year process.
You can get internship hours for actually being in the course if you're doing, so if somebody brings in a project that's an outside project, they get their work experience hours working on that project for a company, even though it's inside the building, so it's a little bit different how they can do that, but we can, help with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, good, good.
And the kids love Pete. If you come to the certificate ceremony, everybody gets like a little bit of a clap, and then when Pete comes out, there's a standing ovation, and all the kids are screaming.
It's just because we play roles, I'm not the principal, I'm the nice one. They call me grandma, so.
All right. Okay, public comment?
I have a public comment. Every month I've been texting or sending a message saying, if anybody has anything to share, I'll share it at the board meeting. There were lots of things to share. So the elementary classrooms, there have been classrooms that have been cooking and kids have been making pizza while learning about measurement. The middle school had a glow dance party and neon nights party. They were fabulous. They had more than half of the middle school was in attendance. We have teachers doing after-school study tables. There hasn't been a lot of participation. Only 1 day out of 3 so far has had them. There will be 6 more sessions, and those are for free. We have another teacher that is doing the play at Ole Olson, Murder on the Orient Express, so feel free to go to that. The Advanced Child Development, they teamed up with Mrs. Ireland's class at the elementary, and they made stuffed animal monsters that the elementary kids designed, so that's always fun. We have another teacher that is publishing a book, Megan Hoover. Not Megan Hoover, Mary Floyd is publishing a book. It's called Is God Real? But that's gonna be coming out on Amazon in the next few days. Our 2nd grade is currently doing their PLTW unit on animal habitats. It's fun, if you go there, they do that all together in one class. And then as they're making their groups, they spread out in the whole area. Mrs. Snavely usually leads it, and then the other teachers, they'll supervise. but they are making their adaptations and everything and having a ball. Fourth grade had their parents, and I believe some third grade too, write letters to their kiddos to give to them before I learned this week, and that was nice. Fourth grade has also been using it as like a spring training thing, talking about how it links to the spring training activities. So they've been given incentives like bringing in charged iPads, or for finishing their IXL iLearn skill plans as part of their spring training activities. Another teacher's using stuffed animals as an incentive to keep kids reading. If they are reaching their specific goal, then they get to have a stuffed animal all day. Our 8th grade band and our high school band received a gold rating at ISMA. This is a big deal because 8th grade band would not normally go. So they would have to go and perform high school music, and they got a gold, so that's really impressive. First grade's having a blast hatching eggs with Heather Smith. And we had 5 teachers that stayed after school and got to help conduct job interviews for next year and had a wonderful experience. So, big things are happening, good things are happening.
Thank you, Carrie. Strategic plan?
Yeah, I think, we have our assistant principals here this evening to pinch hit, and I think Crease and Danielle are en route, I hope, safely, from Kokomo, but they plan on getting here as well, so. Are you two ready, or do we wanna wait? Are you okay? Okay, alright. What do you got up there first?
Either.
I'll go first.
Bailey, well, good, you volunteered.
I'll go. If you go to the attendance, yeah. Our attendance, as you can see, began very strong this year in August with 99%, followed by 96 in both September and October. As of February, we are still continuing to meet our state goal of that 94% or above. March, we were below. You can see that our preschool attendance was pretty low that month, which did impact our overall average. We also had students leaving early for spring break that week. But before March, our overall attendance averages this year were higher than last year. For discipline, overall this year I have been pleased with our total incident reports. Behavior data from August through March shows a total of 222 documented incidences. Last year at this time we had 256. So they're reported across all the categories, whether it's a log entry, minor incident, which is managed by the teachers, and then major, which is addressed through admin. Of course, you can see, September we had 49, in February 35, with the lowest in December with 14, but that was also our shortest month. So, up next is our outstanding attendance through kindergarten, with our kindergarten through 6th graders. So our first semester we had a total of 286 out of 390 students put into the drawing. So second semester we had 267 out of the 390 students, and then the third semester we had 226 students. So there are 2 winners per grade level, and they're drawn to receive a prize. So it can be from gift certificates to games to baked goods to school apparel. And then lastly is our pack parties, and our last pack party, it's crazy to say, will be May 28th, right before school ends, and we'll be having popsicles and we'll be playing our beach ball game. So it's crazy that we're already here again.
So at the high school, one of the things I did this month, I went back to and looking at everything our strategic plan included for our environment piece, which is includes attendance, but it also includes behavior referrals and keeping our buildings safe. So I tried to incorporate all those things in my report for this month. Our activity participation has been pretty high this year. Our winter middle school dance, we had a little over 50% of our middle schoolers attend, and it was a fabulous dance. I've never seen middle schoolers actually dance at a dance, and it was just great. And our high school winter dance, we sold 65 tickets. So 40 students attended the dance, and 5 guest students came from other schools. I'll include from this past month as well, our middle school dance, Glow Dance, was a great party. They decorated the cafeteria, and they had black lights on, and it was just a great time to be had by all, with about 50% attendance, as Carrie mentioned earlier. Our prom was this past weekend, and that was wonderful as well. I believe there were 120 tickets sold, which is pretty good for a junior-senior prom with a school of our size. Our student section, as far as sporting events go, there's been increased student participation this year, compared to last year, just in all sports, both home and away games. Our pep club sets up themes and activities during the games, so Pop Shot during halftime is all set up by our pep club, which is one of our senior projects that students have taken on. Athletic participation, we have 54 middle school athletes, which is about 51% of our student body. And we have 151 high school athletes, which is about 60% of our high school student body. Ag participation, there are 111 high school students and 27 8th grade students in ag. There's another document attached to here that I won't read all of, but it's just some great things that ag has been doing as far as activity participation this year. For safety, at the high school, we've seen a dramatic decrease in prop doors, which helps overall building safety. Our students have adjusted to new expectations and guidelines. I've started attending Region 8 monthly meetings that include some people from our state level of safety, just to go over guidelines coming out, expectations, trends that are going on in schools. I've attended threat assessment training this year with a new law that went into place, so we do threat assessments over anything that is said or reported. Some of the training that's opened up as well goes through the FBI for safety, just so that we can make sure we have good guidelines, good procedures set in place. We know trends going on across the nation, and can make sure that North Miami doesn't fall into one of those lines. And I attend county meetings as well for the corporation, and our next county meeting is May 8th, where SROs and safety specialists get together, look at safety plans, and make sure that we all have the support we need. For referrals and data from February and March, attendance letters in March were a lot higher than where we have seen in the year, and a big part of that, both in February as well, is due to our live learning days. So we had a lot of students that did not log on for live, and at one point we had 3 live days in a row. So an attendance letter is first triggered at 3 unexcused absences. So parents weren't calling them in, they weren't logging on, that's an unexcused absence. So that has been a bit more, just more than what we've had in years past for attendance letters that we send out. We send them out at 3, 5, 7, and 10 unexcused absences for students. For the state attendance guidelines, they expect each student to stay above 94% attendance, and that for a student to have 94% attendance, they can only miss 10 days in a school year, and that includes excused absences. So we really want to make sure that we're reaching out to parents soon if there's something unexcused, and just try to partner with them.
And that's a piece of the puzzle for the upcoming accountability model, that expectation for attendance. So.
Phone confiscations are higher than last year, especially in March. We have also encouraged our teachers to hold students accountable and keep them held to a higher expectation. It's typical for teachers as well as students to be more relaxed towards the end of the year, but we want our students focused on academics, not distracted by their phones, not distracted by behaviors, and just finishing the year strong. So Mrs. Gabage and I have encouraged teachers to hold them accountable, keep to your routines and expectations. So we have seen an increase in incidents as well as phone confiscations in but, with that, our students have been respectful, for the most part, and when a phone is taken, they say, oh, I know, because they know the expectation. So I've put there the spring to date with the percent improvement. The percent improvement looked better before, but we are also at a high point nationwide. In March, April are high times of student discipline, behaviors, things like that occurring.
And to emphasize what Christina said in regards to cell phones, I am appreciative of the stance they've taken as a school. I think we've handled it better than other corporations that I talk to. We've seen an improvement in the classroom. We've actually had kids say thank you. I mean, it seems silly, but they have. But I say that because one of the biggest law changes to policy from the state, from the session this last early spring, late winter, is next year, those cell phones are not even gonna be allowed to be carried by our students. And there's 5 exceptions, but the expectation will be, those phones are collected, put away, off all day long, including lunch, including passing period, until the end of the day. So, for schools that didn't take, I think, this last law and they implemented this as it should have, I think they're gonna have a bigger jump to make. I think I sent an example to our admin team over the weekend of a school that's doing a couple practice days for next year. But that's something that'll be coming with not only our handbook, but it'll be a policy change that we have to implement as well, so.
I got a question. On athletic participation,
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect you to know the percentage. Does the girls outdo the boys in participation percentage? Do you split it? My guess is the girls, of course, they don't play football.
Joe's
No.
broken it down, and I think it's pretty
I think
consistent.
it's pretty even.
Even.
I don't think it's lopsided one way or the other.
I was just curious.
And Joe's tried presenting last month, and he had a conflict tonight with the
Yeah.
reschedule, but he'll be here next month to give us more thorough athletic information.
I would say if we were talking about middle school, it might be a little bit more girl heavy. Just because boy participation these past couple of years has
Yeah.
been a little bit lower, but in terms of just high school numbers, it's pretty even.
One of the rule changes that the IHSA, I think, is approving or has approved is a consortium component to athletics. So for small schools, less than, I think, 350 of athletes, you can partner with another district to form a team. It's a one partnership contract, but, say we partnered with Caston to support, a specific sport. It's a pretty unique, pretty different concept. So we'll be actually, I think, a target of some larger schools potentially that, it's one school for all sports. You can't pick, wrestling here and, softball here. It's a one partnership, but, and it follows the same cycle of the 2-year, seeding for classes, and then after 2 years, you could break that, maybe form a different alliance. But just a different concept to help some of the smaller schools field some teams. Like, for example, Caston, for soccer, they're co-ed, so they don't have a girls' soccer team. So they could partner with another school, instead of their girls and boys having to play together on the same team. So something pretty interesting. The other big deal in Indiana, because as a basketball state, is the shot clock is gonna get voted on in May by the board of directors. They're looking to implement a 35-second shot clock. I think the coaches are for it. The ADs are against it because they don't wanna pay for all the equipment that has to be put in, which is crazy expensive, so. But, no, thank you for both updates. Any other questions at all? All right, we will move into staff reports, so.
Oh, yeah.
Got a few things here I'll try to go over quickly, not to try to steal any of our principals' updates, so. Danielle and Grace just returned this evening from the IUK Teacher Recruitment Fair. We used to go to a couple of these every year. ISU, we did one at Indiana, Wesleyan, Huntington, a lot of local private schools. And it's been a few years since we've attended, just because there wasn't enough graduates to make it worth our time. So I'm glad to see, I think, how many did there end up being today?
I won because they were all elementary. Poor Carice. We had quite a few that came through. A lot of them though, they have, what did Dee tell you, 38
Yeah,
graduating?
they have 38 graduating next December,
Okay, mid-year?
mid-year.
So a lot of them came,
And I think he said only 15 like traditional route teachers were graduating this spring. And they have others who have been doing transition to teach, or they've been doing the paraprofessional program into a teaching position. But only 15 traditional, and I think they're all elementary head, just by the looks of them.
Well, thank you for attending that today. So, I know the setup looked great, so hopefully you were able to pass out some swag from North Miami, so. Kids Fair, Danielle, and even our SRO, there's multiple hats that day, but that's something we kind of get in on the ground with the Y. It's probably the largest, outside 4-H over the summer. There are a lot of kids that go through the YMCA, and we're sitting there with the booth, not only, offering activities, but also, spreading the word on why North Miami is the place to go in Miami County. So, thank you for doing that again this year. That's coming up this Saturday. Cole Porter auditions. So this is an annual scholarship put on by the Cole family. Polly Dobbs runs this. There's no foundation. They cut a check to 2 graduating seniors every year that go into the fine arts. It's a very competitive application and audition process. I think we have 6 applicants tomorrow, but we rotate who hosts that each year, and this is our turn. So we'll be hosting around 12 committee members, 6 participants, and pretty much go all day tomorrow, I think, with the schedule. So Danielle, thanks for getting things in order, and we spent the afternoon setting up Warrior Arena, but we'll be hosting that all day tomorrow. So we have 1 applicant in that mix as well. So best of luck to him. And Danielle will be presenting here shortly over at the Honeywell. Their educational committee board asked her to kind of give an update on the state of education in the elementary world. So she's going to kind of go with, give an update on the accountability model, math curriculum changes, any current elementary trends. So yeah, thank you for keeping in the loop, and that's a good partner of ours for curriculum and programming. So I want to put a special shout out and thank you to Hannah Early and Joanna Wildermuth. I had reached out to our ag department to see if they would be willing to present at Rotary. We bring in a guest speaker, a program. They did an outstanding job sharing their upcoming trip. I'm sure they even twisted some arms and hopefully got some support. I know that's kind of their spiel when they go out, but gave an update on the dairy team and how they qualified for their trip to Europe. So they both have been former student Rotarians, I think.
One of them has, so
Hannah had,
Hannah
so-
has.
So Joanna, I'm sure will maybe make the list down the road, and I can't keep the twins straight. Which of the Sparks girls did you have?
Zoe was this.
Zoe was this last
And then Chloe
month.
was the
Yeah,
month
we went
before.
back to back, so that's even worse. But Zoe was our student Rotarian there as well, so they did a great job representing North Miami. As you heard from our principals, we do have some staff postings. We've conducted some interviews for, I know, nursing at the elementary, which was open, and then our teaching positions as well. On the agenda this evening are several projects for approval. We're still looking though at other possibilities. That was a part of our facilities committee on our goals. We have scaled way back this year, overall in the amount of projects we are tackling, but things yet to come. We're starting to get some finalization on the last round of cameras. So that's been an ongoing process, but we really have a good feel of what we need to button up that project overall. It's been multiple years. We're looking at an upgrade in the Warrior Arena sound system. So last year we put in the baffling in the ceiling to help with the sound deafening, and now we want to give I think 1 speaker in the ceiling of the fort work, and really make that a nice venue, not only for programs, but for games and activities. So we've brought in couple different companies to give us some quotes, so we're waiting on those numbers. And then E-rate, which is a federal program we take advantage of. This is where I know I've been here a long time, because this is a project we did once, like 6-7 years ago, but our Wi-Fi controller is significantly, it's hitting into life with the serviceability. If it were to go bad, it would be a problem for us, but then our access points are due to be upgraded, and so we want to take advantage of that Category 2 funding, and enforce the 470 to only have to pay 30 cents on the dollar as opposed to paying full cost for some of these technology projects. So we partner with AdTech to help us manage the E-rate process, and they do a great job as a partner for us. So Book had a very busy spring break. Couple of issues. Our backflow preventers in both buildings required some significant maintenance and cost. So Those are obviously required. They get inspected. They both had been around a long time, so partnered with QPH on both of those projects in both buildings. Got the elementary, or which was the high school completely done, and the elementary, the other way, elementary was completely done. High school was, waiting on some parts and wrapping into that process, as we got back from break. I think I shared with the board previously, we had a leak, and we were sending 50,000 gallons of water to Denver, no water in the building, didn't know where it was coming from, and we had an old, part of our irrigation system in the football field where it was capped, and it's been an abandoned system, but that cap had worked its way loose, and we were pouring water straight into a manhole there at the football field. So we found that. Boog was real proud of himself figuring that out over the winter. Things were still frozen. So when we go to turn the water on this spring, we've just got some issues with cleaning up the shutoff valves. It's about a 4-step process. It should be about a 1-step process. So he's hoping to be able to tackle. If you've ever looked down behind the state tournament, Indiana, there as you go into the field, those 2 access points are down below, and it's just not as well done. Whenever it happened originally, it's hard to track and figure out why the concession stand turns on with this valve and vice versa, so he's got some work to do there. And then we troubleshooted, if you paid attention to the scanner, it was crying wolf, I felt like all week with the fire alarm. It initially went off on an afternoon after school at 3:45. We had a duct sensor up above the mezzanine that was, for whatever reason, triggering. It was legitimate. I mean, it's designed to, it reaches a certain heat point, very precautionary. What we discovered the very first day in research, the panel, the company that comes in and does our inspections and programs our panel, had mislabeled a few different areas, which put us on a little bit of a investigation to figure out what duct sensor was triggering the alarm. And in that process, we accidentally pulled an actual fire manual. And so that created a little confusion. We got to the bottom of that. The next day, I think Doug had it in test mode all day, cleaned the sensors, thought he had things taken care of. And then what we realized was we had an issue with the panel resetting. So it had triggered an alarm that following day. And then finally, I think on Wednesday, we got to the bottom of some of those scenarios. So we got our fire drills in for the month times 3. And I think we're in a better place in understanding of that system, which coordinates with New Era and MCOR. So it like I said, it's always something there, but it's good to know we're on top of those things. So they did a nice job. We received this past week our new activity bus, so that's bus number 5. It is sitting in town. If you drove through Beechers, it'll go through. Thankfully, we have inspections scheduled for this coming week, and it'll be processed by Sergeant Pike with the state police, and then it'll be put into the rotation here as soon as that inspection is done. So looks just like the last one from a design. So they're 4 and 5 look really similar, but that was delivered by Kerlin's last Wednesday. We are in the middle of I-Learn testing, so that is ongoing currently. Our high school nurse is sponsoring a blood drive this coming Friday at the middle high school. And then I think I mentioned it earlier, Pete, but we are at 109% registration per our quota for the Career Center for next year. So I think it shows this partnership is as strong as ever. We appreciate our teachers, our staff over here, and I think between our counselors meeting monthly, our principals meeting monthly, our superintendents meeting monthly, Darren on the board meeting every month, I'm really optimistic on that partnership remaining strength of what we do at North Miami. So I think that's it. So a little longer than I wanted to be, but hopefully, yeah.
Is the noise, the baffling in the Warrior Arena, was that as effective as we hoped?
It was very effective. When I would stand in there on one end and just talk like I am, it would echo. And now you can stand, have a conversation like this, and you hear nothing. So it really helped tremendously.
I need to go in there and look. Did they just hang things from the ceiling?
Yeah,
there,
it looks like
boxes?
cloth
Oh, okay.
hanging.
Gotcha.
It's a thick fabric, but yeah, it made a world of difference. I mean, it's still a gym, and it's always gonna be a gym, but it's a gym you can stand in and you don't hear just echoing off of all the
That's
walls.
good, because that was kind of expensive.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap, yeah, we were optimistic it would work, and we
Okay.
scaled, yeah, we didn't even do everything that was recommended, we wanted to see if it made a difference, and so.
In the last Bailey just reminded me, yeah, the last music program that we had for K1, it was very different. I
You
mean,
could hear
it-
them singing.
It,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could
Hear
hear
what they
them,
were saying.
yes, like
Yeah.
hear the words
Yeah.
and not just hear noise.
Yeah, because the crowd was so noisy,
It was
people
bad.
went back and back.
Yes, yeah, so it has helped tremendously, yes.
Good.
So I'm excited to see with the sound system and like where we're gonna be once we have all of that done.
All right, we can move to the building, yeah, Chris?
I feel like we've done so much since we've met last, so I don't wanna leave a lot of stuff out, and we have a lot of things, to happen yet before the end of the year. Since we've met last, our juniors took the SAT, which seemed like so long ago, but, that was the beginning of March. We've been iLearn testing with checkpoints this whole time. We've done checkpoint 2, checkpoint 3, and next week we are starting our summative testing with our 7th and 8th graders. So that is the final iLearn test that counts for school accountability for that model. So lots of remediation in the meantime. When we've done our checkpoint testing, those students who had done well, we had rewarded them. We did ice cream sundaes once, we did root beer floats, and the kids really seemed to enjoy that. And we pulled them in during warrior periods, so they got to take a break from IXL, which they love so much, to enjoy those. Like Christina had mentioned, we had prom this past Saturday. Kudos to her for being admin on duty. I was gone at a conference, but from what I heard, everything went really great. And Carrie Wan and Tara Lane are the junior class sponsors who organize everything, and it was just very well attended. National Honor Society induction ceremony was Sunday as well. It was a great time to celebrate, student success with the new inductees, and those existing members earning their patches in their cords. This week is a very busy week. HNAC competition, there's a math competition in our conference, and our students are participating tomorrow. They go to Argus. Same time, Cole Porter auditions, as Mr. Hansen had mentioned, being hosted at the elementary. This Thursday, our seniors are presenting their senior project presentations. And so we have a full schedule, and we actually have more that need to present, so we'll have a very last presentation date in May. And then this Friday marks midterms as well, our blood drive. Friday is very busy for us at the middle high school. We have home baseball and softball games, and we also host the Warrior Relays.
Thankfully, we rescheduled the play a week later, else that
Yes,
was
we
originally on
did.
the schedule. Yeah.
Play was supposed to be this week, that has been rescheduled. Talking to Joe Grant, he said the Warrior Relays is the second longest standing athletic event that North Miami hosts. The number one is the Tomahawk tournament, volleyball tournament. But it's definitely a standing tradition at North Miami.
It always rains.
And it always rains, and it probably will, so maybe we'll just have Warrior Relays and no softball and baseball, we'll see. But it's gonna be all hands on deck this Friday to get that done. Mentioning the play that has been rescheduled for the weekend of May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. Our dinner theater will be that Friday night. They are performing Mary Poppins. I know the kids are really excited. They've been practicing. Now they're practicing during warrior period, during the day. They'll go back on the stage, and you can hear them practicing their music and their dancing. Tickets are on sale, so if you want to buy tickets, contact the high school, Mrs. Wessels, and she can get that set for you. May 14th is our Fine Arts Night, so we will celebrate our music programs and our art programs. On the 14th during the day, we are hosting a career fair from 10 to 1. This is a career fair that we hosted last year through the help of PQC. Amy Bainey, who is our career coach, puts this career fair on for us. It allows our students an opportunity to work this career fair, but then also participate in it as well. And we will allow all of our students to go through that career fair and not have it just for our high school students. I think all of the teachers last year wanted to get their kids down there, and so we anticipate some good participation there. We've got a lot of things coming up probably before we meet next. We'll have Teacher Appreciation Week, the first full week of May. AP testing is going to be in full swing in May. We'll host Spring Fling, so those activities are, they were actually met about today, yesterday, planning on some fun things with our students, and then we'll just get into award season, our finals, and then graduation before we know it, so.
And just, Joe's gonna present next month on some athletic updates, and, you know, we didn't get to share some of our highlights in March, but came off another successful winter. You know, our girls wrestling program continues to grow. Lindsay Pugh had an amazing senior year qualifying. She's gonna wrestle in college. Our boys men's wrestling, you know, defended their state championship, which was a huge accomplishment. We sent 5 wrestlers to the state finals, which was the equivalent of what we've sent in the entire history of our school. So we sent 5 up to 2026, and we sent 5 this year. You know, 3 of those wrestled the second day and finished in the top 8. You know, with Hartley and Rex top 4, and Hartley ultimately, you know, the highest finishing wrestler we've had, finished in second. So, and the rumor is, I've heard, I don't want to. He might even wrestle. Looks like he might continue his wrestling career, which wasn't the initial plan. So, girls basketball got their act together. You know, they fought injuries all season, and they made another run to semi-state, which we can't take for granted. Laney Musel, you know, she broke 1,000 points in that process. So it's great to see Coach Curtis and the girls have success again. They've got a strong program. And then Coach Evans in his first year took our boys. We played for a sectional championship, had a winning season. So made some strides there, and it was fun. We were competitive. Won our first 2 sectional games, first 2 sectional games we've had in a while. So it was a fun winter. And spring is off and running. We've got good numbers across the board. Coach Cooley unfortunately had to step down a week before the season. So Joe did a nice job putting together a quick search for our softball coach. That'll be, you know, officially approved this evening. But Amanda Walters is a former player. She put together a staff. I think it's gotten off. They won their first game on a walk-off grand slam, and have played some really good competition. And unfortunately, I don't think it gets any easier. I think Logan Sports on the schedule, and I think they're the 8th best team in the state. So, but our girls softball has been a strength of ours over the years as well. So, and I'll let Joe update us on the rest next month. But wanted to just mention the success there, and then obviously Christina shared, you know, what the FFA's been up to, and they continue their outstanding traditions as well. So, yeah, Danielle.
So, things that we've had going on, we had Roundup. It seems like it's been forever ago, it's only been a month, but we had 38 kindergartners come through. Last year we had 43, so we're down just a few. And then as far as preschool full day, we're at 17 out of 20 spots filled. We do have enough for 2 half days, which we only had 1 section this year, so that's good. AM right now we have 8 out of our 10 spots filled, and then afternoon we still are 6 out of 12. So we still have room, and we'll keep putting that out on social media, letting people know about that. Usually it is, we kind of get towards the end of the year in May, people realize that, oh, it's ending and I forgot to call, and then we get the influx in August. Those are kind of our two times where we have the most. Just want to give a shout out to our PTO. We had a carnival in March, and it was, Rachel Covington is our new PTO president, and she has done a phenomenal job. It is probably the most smoothly run carnival that I have experienced yet. And thank you to Denver Fire and to Shannon for doing the tenderloins. I don't know if you got one, but they were exceptional this year. So I appreciate them volunteering their time and doing that. I can't remember if I shared that we had gotten a $5,000 PLTW grant or not. I can't remember if that was February, you know, or not, but we did receive a grant for PLTW supplies, and new modules we're updating, and get purchasing some new modules for the classroom teachers as well as Mrs. Calfee to use with our students this next year. So that was wonderful. Last week, we had all of our sixth graders go over to the middle school, eat lunch, experience their first time visiting middle school, talking and everything. I don't know, it seemed
They were wonderful.
they're a great class. I told them I was gonna flunk them all, they all have to stay, but they didn't seem to think that was a good idea. But they are a really great class, and they were very excited. Like, they came back excited, so.
That's good.
Yeah, so they're looking forward to it. Like Carrie said, this week we have I-Learn, we're doing 3rd and 4th grade this week, and then we'll do 5th and 6th grade next week. And let's see, midterms this Friday. This is our last month for JAM and SOAR. So we're kind of getting to the point where we're wrapping things up. Then coming up in May before the next board meeting, lots of field trips. We'll have 6th grade going to police day at the sheriff's department. Stephanie is in charge of that and coordinates all of that for us. 2nd grade's going to Survive Alive. 4th through 6th grade, Kenny mentioned, I'm gonna give an update to the Honeywell Educational Outreach Board tomorrow. And one of their programs, they sponsor our 4th, 5th, and 6th graders to come to Charlie Creek Gardens, James Ford Home, and also the Honeywell Center. So those are gonna be coming up as that culmination of that BTS program. Teacher Appreciation Week, May 13th, 2nd and 3rd grade program, last program of the year. And then the last thing I have before the next board meeting is we will be doing our first, they call it the summer session, I Read tests. So that'll be May 14th and 15th. That will be for all 2nd graders who didn't pass but are on track. So a lot of those we foresee that they will pass in May. And then that'll be the 2nd attempt for our 3rd graders who didn't. And then any who don't pass that will go to summer school, and then we'll do a final one. I will say, while they're not out yet, the 2nd grade outperformed how we did last year. I was very pleased. And once those are allowed to be released, obviously I'll share the percentages with the board, but they did a great job this year. So lots of improvements moving forward. That's all I have.
So I just threw up our financial report as of the end of March on the screen. It's also in the packet. This is just that snapshot of our largest funds that we manage and monitor at the district office. Our education fund, March, April, we're just kind of in the middle of the year. Not a lot of changes to that, except that in April, it doesn't affect the spring or the March that's in here, but in April, our ADM will be adjusted for the loss of our students in spring. And so in our April, May, and June payments, we'll see a decrease in those. Altogether, it's just under $42,000 that we'll lose in those 3 months to offset those students. And then July 1, funding starts over for next year based on the estimates that we've submitted a few weeks ago for our best educated thought of where our students will be. Just to recap, we started at 756 in the fall. In the spring, we were at 745, and today when I looked, we were at 744. And as of right now, I think we have 64 seniors and 55 kindergartners. So that's kind of what we're looking at for 64 and 55 for next year in that fund. The other thing when I kind of glanced at this that I think is a little different for the education fund, if you're looking at 26 to 25 and the expenses, is the supplies are pretty high. That's because this is the first full year that textbook rental was completely collapsed into that, and we won't receive any new monies for those textbook rentals. So we made the payment on our iPad lease from that, and then some other just kind of miscellaneous pieces of software and instructional things that were up for renewal. And we have a couple more that will continue to come out of that. Our operations fund is waiting on property tax collections. That's property and excise are its biggest funds that come into there, so it's always a little bleak right now. We do have that $600,000 temporary loan in there, which makes our cash balance at the end of the month look a lot
because we're waiting on those property taxes to come in. As we've talked about, we've been real cautious on projects this year. We haven't done too much, leading into summer, just to kind of help balance that cash flow a little bit more than we had been doing. Not a lot happened or anything actually happened in our debt service fund. It's waiting on some money to come in from property tax collections, and then we'll have, payments due at the end of June. So June will be a real active month in debt service. Still keeping a pretty close eye on our lunch fund. If you look kind of at the mirror at the top of the revenue, we're just a little behind in revenue, and our expenses are up just a little bit more than our revenues behind. So, just something we're keeping an eye on in there as well. They're not planning on any projects or anything major in their area this summer, so we can just continue to monitor that. I know Stephanie and I have talked a few times just about, number of students that we're serving, and, our enrollment's just going down. So all those things kind of are affected in that too. We haven't had any change in our rainy day or either one of those bonds as of right now. Or in March.
Excuse me. Any questions for Serena? Any old business? No? We can move on to personnel.
Yeah, item A, under personnel, we've got the following resignations. Zach Fuel as a custodian, Rob Cooley, varsity softball, Brad Hoover, Boog Jones, Bud Wright as assistant football, Rebecca Lawson in the robotics position at the elementary, Tricia Hanaway from weights, Jenna Huber-Mail, Carla Diamond, and Haley Durador resignations as teachers from 5th grade, 3rd grade, and 1st grade, respectively.
Take a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Eckert, second by Mr. Hudson. All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Looks like we have higher recommendations for athletic.
Yeah, all the way down to item E, we've got the following positions. Amanda Walters is varsity softball, Samantha Carey, Billy Wood as assistants, Tara Lane volunteer track, Kaylee Lane volunteer track, Ro Underwood, our secretary, volunteer track, saw her out there the other day. Isaac Island, spring weights, Zeke Rushkis, and Zane Brace as volunteer football assistants for fall.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hudson, second by Mrs. Eckert. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 4-0.
Good.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
good.
yeah, you did that.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
It
thinking
wasn't
officer.
there, yeah. We do have, what's that?
Announcer staff.
Oh, sorry, yeah,
Yeah.
item D, Jason Burke, as the middle high school custodian.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Wilkie, second by Mrs. Eckert. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Business, item A, is that next?
Yep.
For middle school classroom furniture. Recommendation to approve purchase of classroom furniture for rooms 114, 116, 118, 124, Ag and Rise in the high school from Overflow for a total of $67,487.23.
Is this the same company that replaced?
Yeah, it's a company we used last year in the middle school hallway, in the interior rooms, so it's been a good partnership. They do a good job. They stood behind, I think I shared, we had some issues with the middle school chairs, and they replaced them all at their cost last year, just past years. That was a positive.
So moved.
Got a motion?
Second.
Motion by Mr. Hudson, second by Mrs. Eckert. All those in favor? Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, we have the middle school, high school hallway painting.
Yeah, it was one, what we're recommending, this is approval, just, it's overdue, painting academic athletic hallways, mid-state painting, and this is a pleasant surprise. These quotes actually came in less than estimated quotes, so we were pleased with where where we came in on the rate here for painting.
So,
Motion by Mr. Working, second by Mrs. Eckert. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next, we have the parking lot seal coating.
Yeah, and this number's a little larger than what we've done in years past. This has been on our maintenance schedule. But we are, on schedule with the new asphalt on the west end. It needs to be sealed, the following year, just for the investment to maintain it. And so we are just tackling two larger areas than we normally do. So this is out front of the elementary and then that west end lot. And so, same individual, Jason's been doing a nice job with the seal coating. We did the same thing when we repaved, the rear of the high school. We seal coated it that first year and it's held up much better than where it was prior to replacing it. So, so yeah, after this year though, I would anticipate that cost being half of that moving forward, so.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Hudson, second by Mr. Working. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Next up is replacement elevator.
Yeah, this number was a little more than it would have been if we would have done this 4 or 5 years ago. I think you look at the economy and where we were, this has been on our list for a long time. I think we broke the elevator today, putting chairs upstairs, it got stuck. So this has been a problem. The disappointing part of this process is we sent out, multiple requests and just a couple of companies didn't even want to give a quote. And I don't know if it wasn't theirs, they don't like messing with replacements, they only want to put in new, but the quote we have is our best option. Is there anything to add? I know you were in the middle of this one.
No, I mean, this is the company that currently services the elevator that we have. There is another company that had been pretty interested, and so we actually asked for a price, and then they didn't respond, and that was just frustrating to have, we asked for companies to have one back, but this is the current one that we use, so, that is what I guess important, since they're familiar with us. They came out and did an on-site audit with the
And it's been nickel and diming us for years, and this was one of our top priorities with going through the committee on getting taken care of this summer.
So that's 133.4.
144.6.
Well, it's 133 for, and then the alternate to redo the lighting in there, and so they're not, I thought elevators would just like be a package, but they're not, they're just replacing the big parts of this, plus all of the mechanical gear, but the face of the, elevator is not, so that ceiling is in pretty bad shape, and could use a new light to be LED for the rest of ours, so that's that additional add-on to that, for that total that's listed here of 144,610.
And just the current state of our elevator, as I mentioned, we attempted to move chairs from the lower level conference room in the library, and every teacher that saw us open the elevator looked like we were the craziest people ever because we were attempting to use it. So I think it's been, I don't want to say abandoned, but we've had multiple teachers get, barely got stuck in the elevator this year, so it just needs to be
So do they give any kind of
You use the
warranty
elevator?
with this, or?
Hey,
what's
I'm
the
not
deal?
scared of it now. I know what to do to make it come back up.
You pull over.
Push the door. Just gotta hang on to the
Starts
door.
texting people on her phone, hey.
Hey, I had
stop.
Wi-Fi.
But do they give is there
I
a
have one.
warranty or,
I wanted to see the ones.
Man, that's been trouble since.
when was that put in? Was this the original?
I think we found plans that it's been replaced once, but.
It wasn't there when I was there. I
not
remember having these scratches on the steps.
Was
so.
there,
What's wrong with that?
Broke my foot in 6th grade.
How many bids did you get on that?
Like I said, that was the frustrating part, is we sent it out to at least 4 companies, thinking one was interested, and this was the only one we received back, so. And I think we bid this out, the 23, 22?
We got a working price in
Yeah.
2030 at 85.
Yeah. But it was something then that we didn't act on.
It has a 12-month parts and warranty and labor warranty, and then the mechanical has different depending on the, areas of the mechanical parts.
so they replaced did they just replace the moving part, or did they redo the whole inside of is it all redone?
So we'll do all of the mechanical parts, the pulleys, the gears, all of that, the electrical will all be redone.
And then inside the elevator, the panel that actually has the controls to it, that will also be completely replaced. But the other three walls are apparently in pretty good shape, so they're not touching those walls, but they'll do the whole panel. And then at both floors, there'll be the controls on the outside, the buttons, the sensors in between the floors. Something about the cab is the word I'm thinking of, but it's not right, but the box that it holds in when it goes on up, all of the, preventative things that are in there will also be changed. So basically everything with those three walls on the interior.
And I think Brooke started working on this after our committee met in early, I think it was early February. So it's taken a while, we just got this one in right before we put the agenda out, yeah.
Yesterday. We got it in yesterday, I know Brooke called today and yesterday and today and asked questions and went back and forth with them, about some areas in this. This includes all the permits and all the inspections and all the things that the fire marshal will also require to have that up and serviceable, so that's all included in this as well.
But they don't warranty any of this for a certain amount afterwards, or did you think they did?
Yeah, they do, so it's a year on the, let me find that again.
Why did you
labor,
spend
but then
20
the
grand on
parts
it next
also
year,
have.
you know, if it's new?
No, so it's 12-month parts and labor warranty, but then the different parts of the motors and the mechanical have different warranties.
Do you have any other questions? You know, motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Working, second by Mrs. Eckert, all those in favor? Opposed?
Yeah, it's not one I like bringing here, I mean, we just don't have any options, it's been on our list for a long time, and this one hit, you know, in a year that work would be done, and isn't really impactful to the building, so.
Not very many people in the elevator business anymore.
Hey, it's a dying breed,
You
I
better
guess.
use that element.
Every day.
We need that on social media, you know.
We do use it every day.
I'm sure you
We
do.
really do, but
I
we
like
use it
that.
twice a day now.
That's what I mean, it's like,
That's a reluctant vote right there.
yeah, it's a lot.
Reluctantly, yes.
Surplus, looks like we had, recommendation to declare the following items as surplus for robotics.
Yeah, and with robotics, we had asked Tara Lane, who, you know, the most knowledgeable about a lot of these materials, and she's been trying to find some buyers to raise some money for the robotics program in high school, so these are why she's deemed surplus to hopefully be able to get rid of.
Okay.
They're not using them.
And then also there, for the corporation, spare school bus 13 and spare school bus 21.
Yep, so in our transportation plan, these were the next two on the list. We're gonna, with it catching up from last month to this month, we're declaring them a surplus and we're selling them all on the same
Right.
night tonight, so.
Alright, so we'll take a motion for surplus on the robotics and corporation.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Eckert, second by Mr. Working, all those in favor? Motion carries 4-0, and then we will move on to, sale of surplus items, spare school bus 13 and spare school bus 21.
Yeah, I think these are record setting, so, we do a blind auction, take bids, we actually got 2 bids for each bus, and these were the winning dollar amounts. I think last time we sold them for, what, 1,500 for a bus? So we get about $750 as a trade-in offer, so this is our best option for these,
$750.
buses. That's what we got as a trade-in offer when we bought the new activity bus.
Stan, isn't that crazy?
Yeah, you can scrap it, you can scrap it for more than that, Stan.
Right.
And that may very well what they do here with one of these, I'm not sure, so. And we got a couple more that are right there, ready to go, we're just not getting rid of them all at once, so.
We're excited, we had 2 different people that were interested in both of them.
Right.
The one person that.
Alright, we'll take a motion for that.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Working, second by Mrs. Eckert, all those in favor? Alright, motion carries, and then donations.
Alright, we'll real quick, we're actually gonna have an old business item next month.
Oh.
I'm not gonna treat it as an addition, but Stan had reached out to me this week, and I wanna formally bring it up. We were approached by a, recent purchaser of a home on Meridian, it's the third house south of 900. It's being worked on and developed, but Phil O'Neill is the owner. The health inspector, it's about 0.8 of an acre worth of property. The septic needs redone, and if they were to, put a new one in, they would need to relocate their well to be compliant with code. And so the request and the, I guess and reaching out, and the formal request was to see if they would be allowed, if we would be considering of them to tie into our, septic drain that runs from our school to Dipper. And so, first really, I think request we've had since we put that in 13 years ago. Bruce Murphy is our, all things expert, water and sewage. He used to run the Denver side of it. They charge $50 a household, in town, which would be their charge if we were to add it on. He cleared it with the alliances. We are the private owner, so it's completely up to us as a district whether we wanna, allow anybody to tap into that. We would take on the responsibility of billing. We could bill them whatever we want. We're gonna be charged $50 additional what we already paid Denver to put them on our system. Concerns we brought up in conversation that I brought up with them was, liability down the road. Something were to get broken or stuck, whose fault is it, and I don't know their intentions. I know they're investing in the property, but the formal, I got a letter sitting on my desk that I meant to bring tonight and I forgot it, but I just wanted to bring that up as informative. It's something I think I can get some feedback from you guys. I'll let them know, hey, we're interested. I just didn't wanna go through the whole process, get their hopes up.
What's Michelle think of that?
You know what, I haven't asked her yet, so we can run that by her as well. And like, we kinda had Bruce check off things, and so, the other thing I think, Serena mentioned is like, what happens if whoever lives in that house doesn't pay, then we turn into, a collection agency down the road potentially as well. And I think there's some federal forms we gotta fill out if we're sharing
Well, and
utilities.
there's some questions on your annual report about whether we have any kind of if we sell any kind of utility, and I think this will bump us into that category. And I'm not sure where that goes, because we haven't been in that before, so.
And the pipe runs, through their yard. I think there's a clearing out box just off the edge of their property, but.
So, we run our sewage at night, right?
Correct.
And if it, for some freak reason, it blew into his septic, it filled the basement.
Yeah, I haven't got that far even of like what that would look like, so.
There's all kinds of, part of me wants to help the guy out, the cheapers.
Yeah, and I know, long story short, I'm familiar with who they are. Well, Stan, from our conversation initially and talking to Bruce with the name, I now know who they are. It's Phil O'Neill's spouse has been with him for a long time, so I'm familiar with who they are, but it's just something I wanted to bring to the board. We can get feedback here later and share with Phil whether we're interested, and he, I think, would even be willing to come and, to the next board meeting if needed as well, so. But I did want to bring that up, sorry. All right, moving on.
Donations. Looks like there's donations for the following: anonymous 167 for music supplies, and then for the elementary, Skinner Chapel, $1,000 for Little Warrior Preschool tuition assistance. A motion from Mrs. Echo. Have a second?
Yeah.
Second by Mr. Working. All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Fundraisers.
Yeah, this is the addition we had.
Yeah, for, golf outing, golf team, fundraiser on August.
Should be
Is it April
26th. Wrong.
Yeah.
So,
She already moved it.
oh,
You
I'm
just
sorry.
got-
Motion by Mrs. Echo, second by
I didn't
Mrs.
hear
Whitney.
you, actually.
You're sleeping with it.
I thought, what did I
This is bringing back memories one year when we got to item Q on business,
can move on to comments.
I didn't start again. Carrie, I really appreciated all your little blurbs. That was great to hear, fun. I couldn't keep writing fast enough, but positive, so good job. Keep up the good work. The end is in sight.
I don't have much, I just can't believe it's March already, it went by fast, and you guys are probably anxiously counting down the days.
The numbers really look good, and I appreciate all the work you guys have, and a lot of them are a lot better than 2 years ago. Appreciate all the work and thoughts you guys put into that.
I don't have anything, Mr. Higgins, nice to see you there. I just wanna say again how much I appreciate Mr. Pond and, you know,
It's gonna be a hard hole to fill.
it is, but I'll be here with you to
Yep.
get through it, so.
Yeah, John's the principal here at Career Center. Any of you have it?
Yeah, he's great too. He doesn't get as many cheers as Pete does on the stage, and I don't know why.
Well, they like him, I'm the mean guy.
And then I just, one last comment, we're in that time of year where we're wrapping up this school year, preparing for next year, so I know it's, you know, my last director meeting, it's all hands on deck. Chad in transportation's doing a great job, we actually have a couple new potential bus drivers we're working on, so that's a pleasant, step in the right direction, so, partnership with Beechers, the communication has gone extremely well, been very pleased with where we're at there, so, yeah, we're at the home stretch, you get back from spring break and it is a whirlwind till the end of the year, so, we do go a little later with starting later with the way the calendar fell, so, you know, students will be here 4 days after Memorial Day, and then our teachers will actually have to come back on June 1st, on a Monday, and then graduation will be June 7th, that following Sunday, so it's the first time in a long time, I can't recall where Peru, McConical, and North Miami weren't right in order. I think McConical is graduating that weekend prior, so, just a few future dates, so. That's it.
One more motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, all those in favor?
I heard that one.
Great. We are adjourned.
John, did you guys win?
JV, it was a JV game, but yeah, they won, yes.
What were you watching? Baseball?
I'm helping my son coach JV baseball.
Okay.